Give me a like if you've ever heard this argument about social media. Social media is just a bunch of people dancing. It's useless, right? You've probably heard that before. Parents, pastors, teachers, teenagers. I once heard a pastor say, "Show me your bank account and it will reveal the desires of your heart." Well, I believe that in 2025 and now beyond, show me your algorithm and it will reveal the desires of your heart. You know, the algorithms are so good that, like, if that's what you see on your social media feed, that's probably what you are wanting to see. That's what you're hovering longer on. That's what the algorithm knows and is feeding you more of. And so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can clean up your feed, how you can audit it, and how you can make it a type of feed that will honor God in the process. We're going to share 3 rules for social media wisdom. I'm going to give you 1 resource that's going to help protect you and your team from what you see on your screens, as well as a downloadable worksheet for you to snag at the end or hit this QR code here at the bottom so that you can use it if you're a youth pastor. Download it, share it with your parents. This is one of the best resources I think that I have ever put together. Welcome, my friends, to the Hybrid Ministry Show. Well, hey everyone, welcome to the Hybrid Ministry Show. If you and I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Nick Clayson. I've been in youth ministry for 14 years, and I have 2 boys, 8 and 6, who are squarely in Gen Alpha, and they are waving their way on up into this world of tech and screens and social. And so in this video, I want to share with you my 3 rules for social media. The first rule is this: harmful social media, right? I think a lot of us have this understanding that social media is harmful, right? But I don't believe it's all harmful. I just believe that harmful social media is when you use it mindlessly, all right? It equals when you have a mindless use of it. And so what I want to encourage you to do is I want to encourage you to put parameters and rules around your screen and social usage. You know, if you didn't watch the last video, which is going to be linked right here, we went through 5 different tips to have more of a screen detox type of life in a quote always on world. And you don't have to adopt those 5 rules. I just want to encourage you to have some rules, because when you use it mindlessly, when you use it without any barriers, without any parameters, that's where things get tricky. That's where things get dangerous. And that's where we start to see that addiction set in and people not able to make the right and smart type of choices that we're hoping that they can make in their life, because social and technology, it has this sort of like addictive way of interacting with the neural pathways in your brain. And so that's why there needs to be a set of parameters that you place on yourself and that maybe even you agree with some other members of your family. The second rule that I have for you is just simply a question: is it you or is it AI, right? Like I said earlier, show me your algorithm and I'll show you the desires of your heart. Let me give you a positive example of this in my own world, right? So YouTube, we pay for premium YouTube at our house because my boys like to watch Minecraft videos on YouTube. And once I realized that this was something that was not going to go away, was that they were always going to want and desire and find themselves wanting to explore some of those Minecraft type videos on YouTube, I realized I want to have a little bit more control over the ads or taking them away, right? So I pay for premium YouTube. Now, here's what's interesting. On my account, this very account that you might even be watching this video on, when you log into YouTube on my TV, it's littered with Minecraft videos. Like, that's almost all that the For You algorithm is sharing and showing on my television YouTube account. Switch over though when I pull open my cell phone on YouTube, because I myself also watch and use YouTube. Almost all it feeds me there is basketball content, all right, or the types of podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis. What's even interesting to me is that it will show me videos that of channels that I've never even subscribed to, but that I've interacted with or that I've watched before, way before it shows me videos of things that I'm subscribed to, right? Which is why, like, I would love for you to subscribe. If you haven't yet, please do so. But if you haven't, if you just watch my videos, the algorithm's going to show my videos to you next time you log in, as opposed to just showing it to you just because you are a sort of like mindless, nameless subscriber. And so I share that to say the algorithm, the accounts, these social platforms, they're really powerful and they're also really smart. And so if you're not intentional with your use, the AI, the algorithm, is going to make decisions for you, right? And that YouTube example, that's a positive example. But let's just switch it to a negative example for a minute. If you're a boy, it's going to assume that you want to see girls on your social media. And if you're not careful, that AI will continue to feed more and more and more of that. Now listen, I know that sounds hopeless, and especially if you're a parent, you're like, well, that's exactly what I'm trying to get away from. Not all hope is lost, and I believe that social can be redeemed for good. You can manipulate your algorithm both positively and negatively, and we're going to get in that in just a minute, because my third rule for social media is you need to have accountability. If you don't have an outlet to discuss, I want to encourage you to invite somebody into your life, especially if you are trending down that quote negative sort of algorithm pathway. Get yourself out of it, ask somebody for help, throw for a lifeline, but then have a regular rhythm of conversation and a regular rhythm of accountability. Set some goals and then ask somebody, as Paul David Tripp says, ask somebody to be intentionally intrusive in your life. Now, parents, the resource that I use personally and that I recommend, we talked about in a previous video. I'll link it down below. We talked about Aura. We talked about Bark. But also the one that I like the most and we talked about and that I also recommend is a service called Covenant Eyes, okay? And what Covenant Eyes does is it installs on your phone. I'm just going to say something. You might disagree with it. It's better on Android than it is on Apple. And the reason why is that it will run a constant screen monitoring in the background of your phone at every given moment on an Android. On Apple, it only does it in the Covenant Eyes browser. But the nice thing about that, especially on Android, is that you know that if you can't watch every single thing on your kid's phone, you can log in as one of their allies, is what they use, the language, the verbiage that they use. You can log in as one of their allies and view their screen activity and literally see snapshot after snapshot of what they're watching, of what they're viewing, of what is on their screen. And so that's why I recommend that. And it's actually linked below in our social feed audit activity worksheet. And in this audit activity worksheet, what it's going to do is it's going to share with you 50 different social platforms to ask about, right? Whether you have a great and wide open communication policy with your teenager or whether it's a little bit more closed off, this will give you the resources. This will give you a list of resources to ask about, right? To inquire whether they have one, even if they don't know that they have one, even if they're not trying to hide it from you, or even if they maybe are trying to hide it from you. And then you can go through, and I recommend that you offer immunity during this audit process, especially if your boy or daughter is having a lot of things on their algorithm that you wouldn't approve of. But as you go through, you can audit and you can ask this question: does this honor God? And the good news is that most social medias offer the ability for you to click something that says, I'm not interested in this, and ask the algorithm to feed it to you less often. And so if you go through that activity with your son or with your daughter, you can help manipulate their algorithm, and then pair that with a tool like Covenant Eyes. You can add back in some constant screen accountability, and maybe you become an accountability person, or maybe you ask them to invite somebody else into their life, a trusted friend, mentor, or adult that can ask them the hard questions of what they're trying to do and the goals that they're trying to set on social media. But in this new year, in 2025, as screen usage and social media usage is becoming more and more prevalent and more prominent, I want this tool to be a way for you, whether you're a parent or whether you're a youth pastor, dishing this out to some of your parents. I want you to be equipped with what it takes to start having this conversation about balancing using what we use on social media so that you will scroll with purpose. And in the very next video, what I want to do is I want to have you click here on screen. We are going to open up a conversation between parents and between students, and we're just simply calling the video Tech Talks, equipping parents to talk to their digital natives. I'll see you over there in that video, but until next time, and as always, my friends, stay hybrid.